start standing today. Why not? And I know it's been a few weeks, but if you remember your intention from week 1, try and call that back. If your intention has changed, totally okay. Maybe just repeat it to yourself a couple of times. Start to shift the weight a little bit forward into the toes and then backwards towards your heels. Just kind of play around with that balance. Maybe side to side, maybe in a circle. Get the feet a little bit wider. Come to a big star stretch. And right hand down, tilt over to the right. Come up through star, inhale. Exhale, left hand down, little tilt to the left. Come through star, inhale here. And little tilts over to the right. Inhale through center, little tilt over to the left. And one more time, each side. Try and make your breath as slow as you possibly can. Use every little bit of that breath to get your movement out. Back through center, big star stretch again. And then hands to the hips, see if we can come into half of a forward fold. Just see where your hamstrings are at the beginning of practice. Probably not very stretchy. And ground in with the base of the first big toe to rise up. Just twist. Inhale, bring the arms up. And exhale, open arm twist to the right. Try and keep your hips still. Leave this in your back. Inhale through center. Open arm twist to the left. Inhale through center. Palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Interlace your fingers. Press your palms forward and up. And on your exhale, twist to the right using just your abdominals as best as you can. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist to the left. Feel your obliques during the movement. Inhale through center. And exhale, big arm circle. Interlace fingers the other way. Press the palms forward and up. Big inhale to reach. And exhale, twist to the right. Inhale through center. And exhale, twist to the left. Inhale through center, reach. And exhale, arm circle. Step to the front of the mat. Right into our sun salutation. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend your knees as much as you need to get your hands to the mat. Inhale to plank. And exhale to lower. Inhale, little baby cobra lift. Reach the top of your head forward. Exhale to release. Inhale, back up through plank. And exhale, slow hurdle to downward facing dog. Take a moment, pedal out the calves here. We'll try and keep our downward dog to plank flow very, very slow. Try and get that cat-cow kind of ripple in your back as we move through. So come to just downward facing dog, both heels reaching down. And on your inhale, come up onto your toes and let your back ripple and hurdle through to plank. take a little pause at the end of each breath to hold each pose. Take one more breath cycle. And settle back into your downward facing dog when you get there. And then very slowly start to walk your toes up towards the front of the mat. Shoulders coming over wrists, and then bending the knees. Inhale to come all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart. Bend your knees, swing your arms up. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend your knees as you come forward, hands to the mat. Inhale to plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale, little baby cobra lift. Exhale to release. Inhale, up through plank, and very slow exhale to hurtle back to your downward facing dog. Take a moment when you get here, stretch out those heels towards the mat, if you can, or just work on getting your knees straight. And we'll bring left heel to the mat. Inhale, lift the right foot up, and exhale, bring it forward to a low lunge. Just feeling it out. Sharp things off of your mat. What? I don't know what that was. I'll do a couple little hand rocks here. You want to challenge yourself by lifting up your arms? Absolutely. Totally up to you. I'm a little off balance today, so I think we'll keep my hands down. Whole foot, your front foot into it when you come forward into your lunge, really feeling your toes pressing in. When you come back for your hamstring stretch, spread your toes. And then keep that distance between each toe as you come forward, letting it set down, all those toes gripping. Not really doing standing balances, but still important to pay attention. Right to downward facing dog, very slow hurdle all the way back. And breathe. We'll get the right heel down this time. Inhale, lift your left foot up. And then bring it forward. Low lunge, same thing on this side. Can be up or down. I'm feeling off today, so I'm keeping my toes.
It's the wind.
It is. It is enough to blow me away. Back to your hip flexor stretch. We'll move through plank. And very slowly back to downward facing dog. Take a moment when you get here, stretch your heels down towards the mat, and then come up onto your toes and start to walk very slowly towards the front of your mat. Shoulders come over wrists, and then knees bend to bring feet underneath you. And inhale to come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Bend your knees, swing your arms up. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend your knees, fold. Inhale to plank. Exhale to downward facing dog. Left heel down. Inhale, lift the right foot up. Exhale, step it forward. This time we're going to rise up to high lunge. Inhale to reach. Just feel that stretch in your left hip flexor for a moment. And then very slowly open arm twist to the right.
Backwards, so.
Towards your leg. Towards your front leg.
Right, but I think I'm the same as you. It's opposite.
Oh, I'm the opposite?
Are you? No, I'm wrong. I'm just dumb. There's the wind.
100%. Inhale back to our high lunge. And exhale back down to the mat. Inhale through plank and right away exhale to downward facing dog. Right heel down. Inhale, lift the left foot up. Exhale, step it all the way forward. Inhale up to high lunge on this side. Feel your hip flexor stretch for a moment on the right hip. And then on an exhale, open arm twist over to the left. Inhale back to our high lunge, reach, and exhale, hands to the mat. Inhale to plank, downward facing dog on your exhale. Back up onto your toes, take that slow walk to the front of the mat again. Really pressing out of the mat with your hands, like you want to kick up to a handstand and then bend your knees, bring your feet under you. Inhale to come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. This time we'll get the feet a little bit closer together. For chair, just a small chair. Inhale, settle into a quarter chair if you like. Just a nice shallow one. And then very slowly transfer your weight onto your left leg. Lift up your right foot, step it back to warrior two. Open the arms. So your right knee is over front ankle. Sorry, front knee over front ankle, not your right. Your right is back behind you. And then we'll step forward back to our shallow chair. Inhale to chair. Exhale, hands to heart. As we straighten the knees. Thank you for following. Inhale back to our little shallow chair. Just hold it for a moment. Bring your weight back into your heels a little. And then transfer your weight slowly into your right foot. Lift up your left foot, step it back to warrior two, open the arms. Really reaching out through your fingers in both hands. And then stepping back to chair as you inhale, come forward. And exhale, straightening the knees, hands to heart. Swing the arms up, big inhale as you reach. Exhale, bend the knees, fold. Inhale to plank. And exhale to lower. Inhale, little baby cobra lift, really reaching top of the head forward and the elbows back. Exhale to release. Inhale, pressing up to plank. And exhale, slow hurdle back to your downward facing dog. Take a moment when you get here again. Try and get those heels towards the mat or just in the general direction of mat. And then just the left heel spiking down. Inhale, lift the right foot up. Exhale, bring it all the way to your outside of the right foot, coming into lizard. So knee up or down, totally up to you, whichever version you feel like today. Just take a couple lizards. outer edge of the right foot, getting our hips moving. And moving in and out. Don't stop moving in your lizard. Dynamic lizard. And then coming back to center. Knee up or knee down. Totally up to you. I'm going to put it up because I want to make it harder on myself today. We'll say 5 lizard push-ups. So just teeny little push-ups. Elbows making sure they're coming back towards your left foot. Really pressing into the mat with all of your fingers. It can be a 1/2 inch push-up if you want it to be. That was 4 or 5 or 7. We'll call that 5. Great. And then we'll move back through our 3-legged dog. So lift up that right foot, bring it all the way back. Reach to the right heel and then set it down. Other side. Bringing the right heel towards the mat. Inhale, lift your left foot up. And exhale, bring it all the way to the outside of your left hand. Same thing on this side. Dynamic lizard. Whatever position you choose, just make sure you keep moving. Just rolling onto the outside of that foot. Doing some fancy shuffling. And then coming back to center. 5 little lizard push-ups here. And then moving back for our downward facing dog. Lift up that left foot, bring it all the way back, stretch through your left heel. And then setting it down. Take a few breaths in your downward facing dog, trying to find that stretch in the hamstrings. And then we'll slowly walk up to the front of the mat, using your toes to lift you to almost handstand. Maybe, no, never mind, not today. Feet underneath you. Inhale to come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Water break. All right, feet together. More chair. This time we're actually going to go for deep chair. So inhale, come down to almost parallel if you can. If you need to come up a little bit, because we're still going to step back to warrior 2. So if you need to come up a little bit, just make it as deep as you can, where you know you're going to be able to stand on one leg briefly. Reach through the arms, transfer your weight to your left foot, and then slowly step your right foot back. Coming into warrior 2, open the arms. Let your right arm come down as you swing forward. Inhale to chair again. Exhale, step back, warrior 2. Same leg. Yeah. Oh, we're being tricky here. Inhale, back to chair. Exhale, warrior 2. Same way. One more time, stepping forward to chair. Inhale here. Exhale, same side, warrior 2. And inhale to chair. Transfer your weight onto your right foot. Stand up, lift up your left leg parallel to the ground. See if you can straighten the knee. And then release. A couple arms. And now we'll go the other way. So this time, your right foot will stay planted, left foot will move back and forth. I should have been more clear about that. That's right.
I am the wizard Vestovius. You are the heroes of the prophecy.
Inhale to
I
chair.
think so. I think they played it really well.
Fantastic.
I like him.
Exhale, very carefully step back to your warrior 2, right leg forward. Find your stance, find your hips. Inhale, come forward to chair very slowly. Exhale, back to warrior two, right leg forward. Inhale to chair. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, step forward to chair. Again here, transfer your weight onto your left leg as you lift up with your right foot. And try and straighten that knee. And then let it go, a couple arm circles. Inhale, lift the arms up. Bend the knees as you exhale, fold. Inhale to plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale, little baby cobra lift. Exhale, release. Inhale to plank. And very slow exhale back to downward facing dog. Left heel down, inhale, lift the right foot up. Exhale, very slowly bring your right knee to right elbow. And move through a few of these. Inhale to three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to left elbow. Bring into that twist. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring it all the way forward and through. Round a little bit in the upper back as you keep that foot hovering as long as you can, and then step it down. Oh, good. Back foot flat, rise up to warrior one. And exhale right away back down to the mat. Inhale to plank. And just shift to back to your downward facing dog. Right heel down, inhale with the left foot up. Exhale very slowly, bringing left knee over to left elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee through to right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring it forward. Round a little in the upper back. Keep that leg hovering. And when you can't hover anymore, then sit it down. Back to flat. Inhale, rise up to warrior one. And exhale, back down to the mat. Inhale to plank. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Here, we'll just walk the hands back towards the feet. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Bring your feet together. We'll come up to our chair at the back of the mat. Inhale, lift up. Find a very deep chair. Almost parallel if you can. And then rise all the way up. And let the arms circle behind. And we'll come to our wide-legged exercises. Cannot take this seriously right now.
Just pretend you're like soldiers in his world training. That's what we're doing right now.
Yes. Yes, wizard warrior. Coming into one horse squat. Wide-legged squat, whatever you want to call it. And we'll make this one a little bit dynamic. So you can shift up, you can shift down, you can bring your forearms down if you want to, give a little pressure on the inside of the knees or hands. Totally up to you, depending on your back abilities. Maybe one at a time, do a little bit of a shoulder stretch. As long as it's dynamic, we're not holding it yet. We'll do a more static horse later.
Do you feel kind of like a D&D creature right now?
I'm gonna get the wizard.
Rising all the way up. And we'll come to side lunge on the right leg. So coming slowly. Or if you need to put your hands down and then kind of sink into it, totally up to you. I think we all have our heels up for this one.
It's heels.
Left hand to the mat or hand that is on the side of your straight leg. Inhale, other arm up. Exhale, back of the right hand to lower back. Inhale, reach the arm up. And exhale, bring it down. Use your hands to walk over to your side lunge on the other side. Very slowly leaning down. Finding your side lunge first.
That's not
Yeah.
accessible.
If you need to bend your other knee and maybe put that down. Yeah.
It's okay. This is the end of my hamstring.
Whichever side lunge works for you. Okay, hand that's towards the center of the mat in. Inhale, reach the outer arm up. Exhale, back of that hand to lower back. Inhale to reach. And exhale to lower. Use your hands to walk back over to the first side. And we're going to do a couple transfers back and forth. So depending if your hips are slightly less mobile, you might want to make your squat a little bit smaller and just do a smaller shift.
I can't get. There's no way I can get my doing feet up or not.
Oh,
No, you don't have to. You can just do a smaller
Let's
squat.
do this now.
Yeah, just shorten your stance a little bit and just shift a little bit back.
So I
and
can do
forth.
this with a pretty wide stance.
Yeah, you can do that
I
too.
can't rotate the leg up and out, then I'm down on the butt.
Because this is the full version, but if the full version is not accessible to you,
Yeah,
that
this is
version,
fine.
yeah, that works. We're just trying to work those legs. Yeah, one more time each side. And then coming back to center. Maybe bring the feet in a little bit more. We'll come to our squat hip lifts. So coming into whatever version of squat you want. You can make it the smaller one too, if you prefer this one. Coming to your squat, and then hands to the mat. Straighten your knees as much as you can, without bending too much at the back. So if your back is going to bend a lot, then your knees are only going to straighten a little bit. And then squat. And lift. Squat. Lift. You can come halfway up. You can come all the way up if you want to make it a little bit bigger. We're just doing a squat and then stretching the hamstring. So if you want to take the wider one, we'll look a little more between horse pose and then a wide-legged fold. So it just depends on your hip mobility and what you're comfortable with today. Couple more rounds. Keeping your core engaged. Core is doing a lot of work here still. And then we'll all come back for a static horse. So legs as wide as you can, sink as deep as you can. Theoretically, thighs should be parallel, but that might not necessarily happen, so. Arms out wide, elbows bent. Hold as long as you can, and then yeah, you can take a break, come back into it. Really feeling the quads here. And then straighten the knees, hands to the hips, wide-legged forward fold. If your hands come all the way down to the mat, great. If they don't, also fantastic. Shift your weight a little bit forward into the base of that first big toe. And then that'll give you a little bit more hamstring stretch. My calves are tight today though. And then we'll very slowly straighten the back. Come about halfway up if you can. Hands to the hips. Press into the mat with all of your toes as you slowly hinge all the way back up. Powerful stance, ready to take on the wizard. Yes, excellent. Okay, we'll bring the feet together. And practice a little crow pose. So you don't actually have to shuffle your feet the way I did. So coming to our crow practice, how's the wrists feeling? Okay, perfect.
So far, so good.
Well, we'll see. Our hands to the mat, knees bent, shoulders over wrists. We're doing beginner's crow, so you can bend your elbows, make sure your elbows are still over wrists. Knees to the outside or just on top. Depending on your hip flexibility, you might bring them all the way up to armpits, or they might just be settling down a little bit above elbows. Leaning forward, rounding the upper back. Look at the top of your mat and see if you can lift a foot or another foot. And anytime you need a break, settle back into your squat and just practice engaging the inner thighs by pressing your inner knees towards your outer elbows. You could also totally just hang out here instead of doing crow if you don't feel like crowing. Maybe just trying to convince your arms that it's okay to take the full weight of your body every once in a while. It's not a big deal.
Like that?
I'm just asking. Using your upper arm is a bit of a shelf for your knees.
Is that what I'm supposed to do?
It's easier than letting your knees kind of dangle.
I think that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm like squeezing in quite a bit, so
yeah, okay.
They're on the outside, but a lot of the weight is going through.
Okay, yeah. Because I think you'll have a harder time getting your knees to your armpits, so that's a good shelf for you here. Theoretically, you'd be able to do the same activation theoretically. And then whenever we feel like we're good with crow, we can just sit. And by just sit, I mean get ready for some abs.
Let's keep doing crow.
Oh, okay, yeah, you can totally just keep doing crow if you want to keep practicing. I'll do abs. We'll come to lie down first, just doing some hip circles. You can use your knee to lead or the full leg, totally up to you. Trying to keep your pelvis steady. And the other way if you haven't already switched. And another leg. Knee or full leg circles. And another way if you haven't already switched. And then coming back to center, we'll lift right foot up. Left leg can be straight or it can be bent to give you a little stability, totally up to you. If you want more, extend your left leg and keep your foot off the ground. If you want even more, lift up your torso into a half crunch and hover here. Just really trying to get those exhales, getting your transverse abdominis working. So you want to have a relatively flat stomach. You want to make sure you're really activating, pulling your belly button down towards the mat. And then we'll grab behind right thigh and press a little bit against your hands. Just activate the hamstrings. relax, let your torso relax, pull your right leg towards you, point your toes if you want to get your calves out of the way, stretch your right ham. And then release the right leg, and we'll switch. Left leg coming up straight or straight-ish. Can be a little bent, it's fine. Right leg can be straight if you want a little extra. Just lift your right foot off the ground if you want a little more than that. Torso comes up as well, arms reach. Again, just finding that activation, especially in your exhales. Just keeping steady. And we'll reach around behind left side here. Press your left hamstrings into your hands. Activate like you want to push your hands all the way down. If your right foot was up, set it down. Relax your head. Pull your left leg towards you. Point your toes. And stretch, breathe. And let your left leg release. Bring both feet to the mat so your knees are a little bit bent. Inhale, arms all the way overhead. And then exhale, bring your hands towards your knees, come into a little crunch as you reach your fingertips for your knees. Inhale, slowly release every vertebrae back down as you stretch your hands overhead again. Exhale, little crunch, bringing hands all the way forward. One more, inhale, every vertebrae comes down slowly. Hands reach overhead. And exhale, crunch up. And release, back down to the mat. Take a moment to breathe. And then take whatever level of bicycle crunches you feel like taking today. If you want to take them really small, take them really small. Just moving in a little mini range. If you want to take them a little bigger, stretching the foot all the way out. If you really feel like challenging yourself today, keep both legs straight. Make it a scissor kick. But you don't have to. Only do what you want to do today. Remember to keep those exhales active. Keep your pelvis relatively steady. Keep your lower back flat or flat-ish. Exhaling on your twist. Getting those obliques really warmed up. And then coming back to center, taking one big full body stretch here. And sigh. And then we'll bring both knees into the chest. You rock a little bit side to side. And then start to rock back and forth. We're going to rock up into our squats. So whenever you feel like you're done with the rocking, you'll just end up in your squat right at the front of your mat. Pressing elbows into knees. Very engaged in the pelvic floor. Are we all on toes or we're on?
On toes.
We're on half and half. Yeah, you can be on toes if you want to, totally. You can be on heels if you want to. From here.
Most of all, you can dance if you want.
Yes, 100%. If you want to skip the rest of the routine and just dance, like, I'd be very happy with that. Little crow. One little crow. And then we'll come back to our plank. Really starting to get those arms engaged. Remember to dial the fingers out as though you're trying to move your pinkies outwards. Feeling your core working here. And then we're going to very, very slowly start to walk. I'm going to lift my hips a little bit first here. Bend the knees, walk your feet up, and walk them a little bit out to the sides of your mat. So you're going to try and keep your shoulders over your wrists. I come into Firefly prep. If you would prefer to keep working on crow, you absolutely can. Firefly is going to be a little tough if you don't have a lot of flexibility. So, if you're working on your Firefly prep, you can keep your knees bent or straight-ish, and try and see if you can get your hands to move back between your feet. Maybe they come behind. Yep. Squatting down, similar concept, but this time instead of knees, it's thighs on top of your upper arm. Very gently lifting the heels, maybe getting a little more weight into your hands. And then seeing if you can lift a leg, or a foot, or two. Maybe coming to hover.
Can you lift my leg for me? It's not moving.
No. It'd knock you over and be all on my foot.
Tell my brain to move my leg. Stuck.
That's where it starts.
I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but if you go up onto your knuckles, you get a bit extra height. I don't know if that's in yoga advisable or not.
Yoga will say it's never okay because all your proprioceptors are on the front. As long as you're just careful when you fall out of a pose, because if you're up on your wrist and you fall backwards, you might get a little bit too much flexion.
Make sure you have the wrist strength, I guess.
Yeah, that's up to you. Is it just the strength of getting up?
I don't know. I'm trying to kick my leg out, and my body is just, the signal to kick out is just not being propagated down into my legs.
That's fair. Maybe your core's not there yet.
Oh, could be, yeah.
Right? If your body feels like it can't actually take the weight on your hands, because how often do we spend time hanging out on our hands or arms? Not often.
Oh, so your arms are quite straight.
Mine are. You can keep yours, but that's where I did my first Firefly, was here.
Okay.
That was about it.
Okay.
Now I'm practicing.
Looking at it confuses me a little bit.
I know, it's the brain is like, her hands and her feet have reversed.
I had to keep my elbows bent at first, and I was really relying on using my upper arm to support my leg weight.
Okay.
Because my brain needed to wrap around it. It was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So it took me a while. Now I'm working on getting my arms straight, but it's a similar concept to crow and crane, except instead of using the inside of your knees on the inside of your elbow, you're using basically the inside of your thigh further up on your arm. So in crane or crow, it's like when we do in squat where you're giving that pressure,
Yes,
a little bit of pressure. So it's a similar thing. Your adductors need to be really, this is why we do side lunges. Adductors need to be engaged and squeezing a little bit against the upper arms. And that'll help keep your whole body stable. It'll help your core feel a little more stable. Because otherwise you're asking it to hold up your whole legs.
Yes, yeah.
Willy-nilly, essentially. And it is going to take some time for your brain to get around it. It's definitely weird. If you prefer to work on crow, we could totally do that too.
You're pretty close, Dana.
Maybe if I just like,
Because you're really close.
Yeah.
I change how I'm like, just slight changes. Like if I move that now.
more back. Because then that's why your feet probably don't want to lift up, because you're getting a little bit too much weight forward. So elbows bent, and then bring your elbows back.
Elbows back.
Back.
That's forward.
Back. Towards your back. Back of the mat.
I'm
Towards your
gonna
butt. Because you're... I know, it's hard to tell where your arms are. Because you're leaning a little bit far forward.
Oh.
So your body's not gonna want to lift up your legs here. So so at least your elbows are over top of your wrists. And you might need to do a little fun work trying to figure out where your legs have to be to settle back. Because I'm like fully sitting on my elbows here.
Okay.
And that's kind of where it starts.
I also have to bring my butt back down.
Yeah,
If you want to work a little bit more on those lizard ones where you stick your elbow underneath your shoulder underneath, because that might help you get the hip movement a little bit easier.
Yeah.
You need to like sit on your own arms.
Yeah, like a lizard, that pose for me has always been a really like tight in your knee. I've just always been really bad at it.
So more adductor.
Yeah.
More butterfly flaps then.
Harmonica accompaniment left.
You only have a minute left of curl?
Harmonica left.
Oh, harmonica left. Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah, that was kind of nice.
It was.
Work on your butterfly. And side lunges, really good for adductor strength.
Yeah. Mark is getting a little close over there.
It was just a balance. You have to do it for like 2 seconds or so.
Yeah, same.
But I'm probably
It's a
not,
balance for
probably
me
not
as
doing
well.
it right. I don't know what I look like.
Because I feel like in my pro, if I just point my weight more forward, I could get it, but I just can't.
That's right. It does take time to figure where you're at. I definitely fell out of my first Firefly and hurt myself. So.
Oh no. Well, hey, look at you now. You're flying all over the place.
I'm almost flying.
Yeah. I would say you are flying. I look at you and my brain is like, huh?
I also worked on it a lot because I didn't want to teach the class and not be able to at least halfway do it. I was like, we might just be doing drills, not actually balancing. Because if I can't do it, I can't teach it.
Yeah,
I was very close to not being able to do it in time.
Wait, pick the hard one. Like, I've never seen that one up before.
It's very advanced. It's not one of the original Hatha postures. It's very much a trophy pose, but just the skills you need to get into it, I'm like, those are useful.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
For everyone. Why not? Alright. Little side stretches. And we'll do side stretch first. Towards your straight leg. Keep both hips very, very grounded.
Just getting like a spasm in my hip.
Oh.
It's been working too much.
Too much crow.
So,
You can do a pigeon stretch too. And then lifting both arms up, turning towards the straight leg now. And then little hamstring stretch. As far as I am getting. It's getting dark.
I couldn't
just a
tell
cloud.
if it was my sunglasses or
it's a
if it
cloud.
was
It's not night yet.
Summer!
I know. I love this temperature. Oh my god,
This is
luxurious.
perfect.
It's a nice day, yeah.
This is the best day we've had.
Oh, yeah.
24, 25, no smoke.
I thought it was 16. It's not?
This
It's
is not
24?
16. It's
20
20 something,
something.
isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah, it's like
this is
22-ish.
nice. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. It's glorious.
Maybe we'll have more of this going into the next session. Or we'll just do snow yoga.
Do you have a pose request if we go into a second?
Yes.
Snowga, you can reuse some of those sounds.
Oh,
Honestly, if you
Wanna
market
do our
it, that could become
parka
a huge
asana?
thing in Edmonton, Snoga.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I can see people moving to that.
I feel like I would be too cold.
Very not hot yoga.
Yeah. Your joints will just seize right up.
You know, that's why you gotta wear like
hugging.
4 layers of warm underwear, so you're actually sweating under all of it.
There you
I was
go.
gonna say snow pants, so everyone's like
Yeah.
going from like chair to warrior two. Just hear that like sweet. So perfect. Do our glutes need stretching? Do we need some pigeon?
I'll take some boots.
I'm always happy to do these stretches.
Yeah,
You know
you
what?
take the lying down version
Okay.
if you want to. I think are we all at the lying down version?
That's fine.
Not so much the trophy pigeon. You want to give a little pressure to the inside of that stretching knee with the forearm. You can as well. Just give it a little extra twist. And there's your legs. Back up to sitting or wide-legged seated fold or squat, whichever one you like. You can take cobblers, you can take a squat for a little extra stretch. Up to you, whichever version you like. Ooh, lots of breath. And find our active stretch first. So if we are here, leaning a little forward, you can also, again, take another squat version and just try and rise up an inch or two beyond your range, so you'd be somewhere. So just a little more activation for the legs. So not right at the bottom, a little bit higher. You're still working a little. Whatever level you like. Just not right at the bottom, because you don't want to just sink into it.
Yeah.
So just a little higher. You're here, and you're leaning a little bit forward, really pressing your hamstrings down into the mat. So not fully stretching yet. Holding yourself up. It's going to be a lot of activation here and here. If you're in a squat, also here. Everywhere. And then release. Either to stretch in a seated fold or coming to a little cobblers and trying to lean forward. Just stretching adductors, hip flexors a little bit more. And then coming back to sitting, we'll bring right foot in first. And then the left. Palms facing up, hands on the knees. Just breathe for a moment. And take another moment to thank your body for everything it did for you today. For all the things it does for you every day. Thank it for the opportunities to learn to do more things in future. up. We'll take a few cleansing breaths. So palms together, exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, lift the arms all the way overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lion's breath. Inhale, lift. Lion's breath. Inhale. Lion's breath. Thank you so much for joining me for your practice today.